Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Elements of the Unknown. I'm your host, Jason McGray, here with
Billy.
What?
Behemoth.
What?
Beelzebub.
Are you literally reciting demon names right now?
Yeah.
You idiot.
Yep.
I'm laughing, but you obviously don't understand my beliefs when it comes to demonology. I never use their name.
Oh.
Because some people believe
Okay.
that if you use a demon's name, you invite it to come to where you are. Good job. You just
Come on in, Bellio!
You just brought 3 in and destroyed the hell out of our audio with that yell.
Nice. Nice. Back at it again.
I'm very sorry that Justin blew out your eardrums.
Oh, well. Welcome back. I'm Justin.
If you didn't guess, we are going to dive into the first part of this journey of exorcists and demonology, demonologists, exorcisms. We're going to start with the exorcism side. The exorcist side, I have done a bunch of research on a person and some case files.
You
and
met
some
someone?
subject matter. No, I didn't meet anybody.
Okay.
I mean, I meet people all the time, but no, I didn't meet an exorcist. Yeah, I know. Literal thinker, literal talker, little... Anyways, I brought a list to start off with, a fun list.
A fun list.
Of movies that you can watch that have to do with exorcists and exorcisms. Okay? We'll just start with the Hollywood side so that we can mash your brains in with Hollywood untruthful fiction.
Yeah.
That's the fun stuff.
Yeah.
So if you want to start where everybody starts, in 1973 when they brought out The Exorcist.
That's like the beginning of the fall.
Maybe.
What do you mean maybe?
Okay, I'm gonna go back to The Exorcist because it has to do with some stuff on the research.
So are you telling me that it's not the beginning of the fall when they turn around and make this little girl go all pale white with a bunch of cuts on her face and go, yeah, fuck me, nah! Seriously? They did such a great job.
Well,
great acting, by the way.
That movie terrified the shit out of people when it came out. Absolutely terrified people.
I heard that, and then I watched it, and then I just shut it off, and I was like, what the hell did I just watch? That's 2 hours of my life I'll never get back.
So, obviously, you watched it not in 1973.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Well,
you don't know how old I am.
Maybe you did. But in 1973, they didn't have anything like this in film. No. So this came out, and people went bananas over it.
Of course.
And it started a huge craze in the United States and the world about exorcisms and demons and stuff like that. And I will come back to some more facts on that as soon as I can. Let's get through the list.
So guys, this is just giving you a heads up. This is just more so going to be a podcast of Jay talking and me just going, yep,
No, not at all.
Yep. Yep.
That's not true. It's going to be me talking and you yelling.
Go ahead.
No, we're going to talk about each stuff. That's cool. Oh, come on. Don't patronize me like that,
yeah,
man.
I'm not patronizing.
All right, cool. What do you got?
I got nothing. This is you, man.
Oh, it's me.
It's you. Go ahead.
All me.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We're going to have a husband-to-husband bicker on
you know what?
Air here.
I'm sick and tired of your attitude.
Go to my room?
This podcast is going absolutely nowhere
It's
fast.
going to hell in a handbasket. We might need an exorcist.
Way to bring it back, buddy.
So, after 1973, I jumped forward to 2005. It was a movie called Exorcism of Emily Rose.
That was a good movie.
That was a better movie.
Mm-hmm.
There was then in 2009, The Haunting in Connecticut. Did you see that one?
I'm not. Probably.
2011, Anthony Hopkins was in one called The Rite. The Rite was really cool. It was about exorcists, and it was about...
Haven't seen that one.
It was about an exorcist in Rome who becomes possessed, and the student exorcist has to exorcise him. Really cool movie.
Wait a minute. Didn't they just recently release a movie very similar to that? With Gerard... Was it Gerard Butler? No, not Gerard Butler.
Not similar, but possibly to do with similar people. 2012, The Devil Inside.
I've seen that one.
And then also in the same year, they came out with The Possession.
Yep.
And then in 2013, one of my favorites came out, The Conjuring.
The Conjuring. Yeah, that's a whole series too, right?
Yeah, it brought on a whole series of Conjurings and Annabelle, The Nun, La Llorona.
It opened up the book for a lot of different movies.
And there's still more coming out.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of different franchises that stem from The Conjuring, which is good. They kind of set the benchmark for exorcist movies, demon stuff like that. They did very well with it.
The Conjuring will circle around into our demonology section of this series because it deals with Ed and Lorraine Warren, and we'll get back to Ed and Lorraine Warren. 2014, Deliver Us from Evil.
Yep.
And then I brought it right up to date. 2023, this year, we got The Pope's Exorcist.
That's the one I was referring to.
Yeah, I know you're referring to that. So, and I believe The Pope's Exorcist, so where you're getting the similarities from, this is the thing. There is an exorcist named Gabriel Amorth.
Okay.
He is used to be the basis of a lot of these movies, or the movies are about things that has happened to him or he's done.
Okay.
So,
factual person.
An actual exorcist, and one of the long-standing exorcists, and somebody that is like really high up in the exorcism order.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the priest behind the story of The Exorcist itself, the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
The Exorcist, the movie, is actually based on a true case, which I don't think people knew that. Not a lot of people know that. 1949, there was a case of Roland, known as Robbie.
Ronald Reagan.
Robbie Doe. It was a 14-year-old boy that got possessed.
Okay.
He's also known. He was called Roland Doe, but his name is actually Robbie Mannheim. And then later on, we found out Robbie Mannheim, his actual name is Roland Edwin Huakeller. And he was born in 1935 and he died in 2020. But anyways, the case that involved Gabriel Amorth, the first reverend to record it was Raymond J. Bishop.
Okay.
He was the one that went in. So what happens is a priest will go in and record the events of what's happening in a house, and they have to provide these eyewitness accounts and evidence of a demon infestation in order for the church to approve an exorcism.
Okay.
So the bishop here, Reverend Bishop, would have had to say, okay, yeah, this is what the boy's doing. This is what's happening in the house. Maybe objects are moving, or whatever the case may be. He's documented a bunch of stuff. Would have presented that to Gabriel Amorth, and then they would have said, yeah, okay, we'll do the exorcism. And maybe Gabriel come in and does the exorcism. And they exorcise the boy and the house and stuff like that.
Right.
But also, Gabriel Amorth is also the basis for the Pope's Exorcist, because he is the Pope's exorcist. he answers to the Pope. And if you watch the movie, you'll see that there's like a...
Have you seen it?
Yep.
Oh, is it good?
It's decent. I have some issues with some of it, but it's okay. It's good. There's like an inquest panel of priests, and they're like grilling him, almost like interrogating him, and he's like, I don't answer to you. If you have a problem with me, you take it up with the Pope. He's the Pope's exorcist. He doesn't answer to anybody but the Pope. He does what he does because he's good at it.
Can I hold on?
Yeah, I want to give you a chance to interject because I got a lot of information and I want to break it down slowly.
So let me. Is an exorcist priest different than any other priest, or is it just something that they know how to do? So like they're like a priest like any other priest, only they do like it's like a side gig for them.
They would have been ordained to become an exorcist. They have to follow a path.
Okay.
So you can be like I don't 100% know the full structure of the Roman Catholic Church. I'm not going to pretend that I know that. But I do know that even though you become a priest doesn't automatically mean you are just an exorcist. You can't the priest down the street at the Catholic Church where you live he's not necessarily an exorcist. He can bless things, but he's not necessarily an exorcist. An exorcist is somebody who's gone and been trained to be an exorcist by somebody who is a professional exorcist or whatever the case may be. To do that. Mm-hmm. There's actually somebody, which we'll circle to again later on. I'll make a little side note.
Okay.
There's one person I know of that was given permission to perform exorcisms that is not an ordained priest or minister of the church.
Someone you know?
No, not somebody I personally know.
Okay.
Somebody famous.
Okay.
It was Ed Warren.
Really?
Yeah, Ed Warren, who is a proclaimed demonologist, occult, paranormal researcher, he had permission from the church to perform exorcisms, only because of his extensive experience. But we'll get back to him.
This ain't gonna be no one-parter.
No, it's not going to be a one-parter. I have a feeling it's not going to be. If you want to read about the Pope's Exorcist from 2023. That movie was based off of some books. 1990, there was a book called An Exorcist Tells His Story. And then in 92, An Exorcist, More Stories by Father Gabriel Amorth. So he actually wrote books about his cases and about what he had done as an exorcist. And then they've been basing movies off of it and all of the things that he's done. Yeah. According to the news articles, we're talking about The Exorcist, the first movie. 48 people witnessed the exorcism of Robbie Doe, Mr. Robbie Mannheim. 48 people witnessed his exorcism. 9 of them were Jesuits.
Who?
Jesuits.
Yes. No idea. No idea.
Like
Jesuits?
Jesuits, like Jewish.
Are they better than Jews? Like, are they
Jewish priests?
Oh, okay. I thought maybe it was just like the premium version of Jewish. Like, if you pay the extra $5.99 a month, you get to get like, I don't know, gold membership for Judaism and become a Jesuit. I'm sorry. I'm driving the train to hell. Wanna join? Toot toot.
No, you're on your own.
Okay.
You can go hang out with the 3 demons you summoned.
Oh, Asmodeus. 4.
I want to go home.
Oh, man.
Can you like summon Mothman or something?
Yeah, Satanas.
Oh man.
So
I hope Archangel Michael comes and saves us.
He's
all.
on my arm, so we're good. Listen, man.
Okay.
With this whole what would make a demon just take over somebody's body.
Man, you have like the perfect timing to the content of my research.
Really?
Are you like reading my notes?
100%. I can't read upside down.
You can't read my horrible writing upside down?
No.
Okay. So the question,
you were going to bring this up?
So the question you asked fits perfectly with the information I was about to present.
Wow.
Okay. So the information
it's like
I was going to present...
we know each other or something, man.
Yeah, I know. So Mr. Roland here, Robbie Mannheim Roland, the guy of many names, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
His aunt introduced him to a Ouija board.
Okay.
And that was before he became possessed. And then there has been 2 documentaries made about this. So, Haunted Boy, Secret Diary of the Exorcist, and In the Grip of Evil.
Okay.
That is that will show you the documentaries of actual Roland and his experiences of playing with a Ouija board.
Okay.
And the Ouija board is what brought the demon to him. Like it attracted it into their life. Sure. And that's how, once you bring it in, things start to ramp up.
Mm-hmm.
I have a ton of stuff rolling around in my head because I've been actually reading The Demonologist by Ed and Lorraine Warren. So they cover a lot of information about how demons are brought, and demon or negative energy or whatever you want to call it are brought into the situation a lot of times by
because demons are portrayed as so many different things.
They can be, yeah. A demon is a very like a Christian term.
Yeah.
And we've discussed that before on previous episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But it is explained that the things like seances and Ouija boards and stuff like that will attract demons to you. And then once they're there...
So I'm going to call this out.
They have like a long laundry list of ways that they mess with your life.
Did they sit down in a board meeting and be like, okay, everybody, we got some updated ways on how we can possess people. 1, we're going to make them throw up. 2, we're going to bend their bodies in a way that they can't bend. 3, we're going to make them say things that they shouldn't really say. I don't care if they're a 10-year-old girl or not.
You know, or a 14-year-old boy.
So, and if the big guy upstairs is all powerful and whatnot, how come he doesn't send down his archangels to protect?
How do you
why is it only priests that can do these exorcisms, and the archangels are because they're higher angels, right?
Well, it's not. As I told you, it's not just priests. Ed Warren has done exorcisms as well. It's not about being ordained. It's about the knowledge that you have to do it correctly. And a lot of people will say, oh, I know how to do it because I read a book, or I know how to do it because I watched a movie, or I heard about it or read about it on the internet. No. Formally trained with years and years of experience knowing what to do. I don't know how to perform an exorcism. You don't know how to perform one. We're not going to know it tomorrow just by doing this podcast today. Do you know what I'm saying?
Want to make a bet?
Yeah, we're gonna have to after all the demons this summer. We're gonna
right?
have to exercise all of them.
I'm saving the best for last.
If anybody out there is an exorcist and can come do a part 2,
Lucifer.
We're gonna. Oh my god, you're killing me, Smalls. So, you know what? You want to know what? Actually, you know what? You're talking about all these things that demons do. Make all these little. You got your list of rules. You know what's an interesting thing? During all this research, you know what I learned? All paranormal investigators were all doing wrong. Because in the Christian faith, in the Bible, God specifically says, do not communicate with the dead.
Whoops.
Whoops. Yeah, but he literally calls that out. Do not communicate with the dead.
Whoops.
And
we've been doing it for how long now?
There's
late to turn back.
There's literally probably 1 million people doing that. Like, there's so many people out there, EVPs, video, all EMF, like all these different devices that we use to communicate with the dead. We're doing it. And who knows, maybe evil demons and negative spirits are having a field day with it.
Yeah, that would explain sometimes why a lot of paranormal investigators will see shadows and stuff like that, because maybe and other people might not. Because okay, let's just take what I'm saying is somebody who's never done a paranormal investigation or spoke with the dead or anything like that might not see any shadow figures or anything like that, whereas somebody like ourselves who speak with the dead allegedly. No, I wanted you to deal with that. You putting the cup down. I stopped.
You had to bring it forward.
I'm bringing it forward.
All right.
So, people like us who communicate with the dead, who do the paranormal investigations, will actually see the shadows, because maybe those are the demons that are following us around.
Maybe.
Have you ever been baptized?
Yes.
So it's been said that baptisms can reset the soul, forgive you, wash away your sins. It is in my professional opinion that you get rebaptized, because at this rate, the way we're going,
like me personally,
I'll join you.
Okay.
But when we're done doing everything that we're doing, we're gonna have to go get baptized.
I mean, and in Catholic faith, they do confessionals.
Yeah.
Where you can go do confessionals, and it absolves you of your sins. If you confess them, you can be absolved.
Listen, I am not a following Christian, anything like that. I've never been forced to follow religion, because that was something that was implemented in my parents' lives. So they gave me the option of whether or not if I wanted to follow any sort of religion. I dabbled in it for a little bit, and I was like, there's so many contradicting rules, and they're so, in my opinion, just so arrogant. But anyways.
Well, I mean, my religious upbringing, my grandmother was a churchgoer, and therefore my mom and myself were churchgoers when I was a kid. Sunday was very much sit beside my grandmother. She gave me a cert. You know those little candy certs?
Yes.
She'd give me a cert. Here, have this. Sit quietly and pay attention. And then...
Just pray, dear.
Yep, and then halfway through, you'd have to walk up the aisle. All the children would come into the center aisle, walk up, sit on a staircase, and the minister would come down and sit on the top staircase. And we'd all sit around him. It's like Jesus and lambs. We were all sitting around him, and he would tell us some kind of biblical story that would take maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And then a bunch of old ladies would come usher us off to the side and down into the basement, where we would go to Sunday school, and the parents would come pick us up at the end of the church ceremony.
That doesn't sound shifty at all.
Right? It doesn't matter. We got cookies and stuff at the end. So
come on with me,
get,
little boys. Come downstairs to my basement.
Man, I was a fat kid. I didn't care. I just wanted the cookies and Kool-Aid at the end of the day. It was amazing. It's like, if I go to Sunday school, get cookies and Kool-Aid, score.
Nice.
The stupid adults upstairs are drinking water and wine and
drinking
bread.
Jesus's blood. What?
Yeah. You're not getting cookies and Kool-Aid.
Was it red Kool-Aid?
Probably. I mean, it was the 80s we're talking about. So.
Oh man. Yeah, let's bring it back in here.
But
we're getting out of control.
Do you have any more questions about Gabriel?
I have lots of questions for everything.
Before I give you more information on Gabriel Amorth.
Was he a Christian himself?
Catholic, Roman Catholic.
Roman Catholic. So, and he was the one who was, possessed, correct?
I'm not 100% sure if he was possessed.
Or he did the exorcisms.
He did the exorcisms.
Exorcise the demons.
He also founded the International Association for Exorcists. He did that.
Say that again?
International Association of Exorcists.
Okay.
He did that with 5 other priests. He founded that organization.
Okay.
And and amongst those, if anybody is familiar with exorcists, another exorcist that was in that organizing foundation was Jeremy Davies. He's another organizing member.
Sure.
That was formed in 1990 is when they formed that organization.
Excuse me.
And that organization didn't get a status of approved from the Roman Catholic Church until 2014. So they operated this organization, Association of Exorcists, ordained priests, exorcists, formed their own organization and stuck to it. And then it wasn't until 2014 they're like, oh yeah, we approve of that. I'm like, I don't think they care. They're good. They did it anyways.
They were doing it anyways.
They didn't need the approval, but they got the approval.
Hey, we're gonna do it anyways. It doesn't matter.
Any guesses on how many exorcisms Gabriel Amorth claims to have done?
Well, he's been doing it. He did it for years. He's obviously well established. He's obviously well known. I'm gonna say well over 100.
Okay, well over 100.
I'm gonna say 150.
Okay. Well, 94 of the cases that he did actually involved possession.
94 people
out of the claimed tens of thousands of exorcisms that he performed.
I'm sorry?
Yeah. He claims to have performed tens of thousands. I think in my research I read something like 50,000 exorcisms.
He was doing an exorcism every day then?
Multiple a day. But he was classifying everything as an exorcism. If he walked up and blessed you, he considered it an exorcism. Because he's an exorcist. That's why he says only 94 of them were actual cases of people being possessed.
A blessing and an exorcism are two completely different things. I mean, come on.
Is it?
Dude. So you're saying if I was an ordained priest and I just walked up to you, put my hand on your head and went, I mean,
yeah,
I did an exorcist.
Yeah,
exorcism.
What does an exorcist do? Expels
negative energy. Okay, yeah, okay.
Expels your demons. Expels your negative energy. I'm blessing you, therefore, my power, which he believes is my power from God, is to push out the negative energy away.
I don't know if you can tell by now. I'm very skeptic about this.
You know what? And yes, you know me, and everybody listening that's been following us for as long as they have know me as well to be a very objectified, skeptical, rational thinker as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just presenting exorcisms and exorcists and the faith and belief that follows with that. So...
Okay, let me ask you this then. Yep. After doing this research,
yep,
are you more convinced about exorcisms or are you skeptic about them? Or should that be a question that I ask at the end? Because this by far is not the end. We've barely even scratched the surface of even explaining what a demon is.
Okay.
We've barely even scratched the surface of explaining what an actual exorcism looks like.
Okay.
So
I've presented what I have for Gabriel Amorth.
There's you still have a whack load of stuff there from what I can see.
Yeah, it's a lot of demonology stuff. Or demonologists and demonology stuff. So let's go with this.
Okay.
I've told you about a list of movies.
Here it comes.
And Gabriel Amorth.
Here it comes.
And some of the facts behind what has been presented to give ideas to Hollywood.
Yeah, he's going to say it, ladies and gentlemen.
And the case files of what he has done, and you can read more about Gabriel Amorth.
Sure.
And we want to talk more about what an actual exorcism is.
Yeah.
and what actual demons are. And I think we'll talk more about what actual demons are when we get into the demonology side of this topic. And until next week...
See? There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
We're going to let you stew on that, and we'll come back and deal with more of what an exorcism actually is, and we'll present some stories of actual exorcisms being done. Does that work?
Sure.
Yeah, I know you hate it. Till next week, folks. Stay spooky.
Stay weird.